everyone, welcome back after what for us in the UK was lunch anyway. If you're joining from elsewhere, happy whatever time of the day it is for you. We're now into our kind of solid sessions for the rest of the day, right the way through into the evening. So there's no way to leave now. You're here for the remainder. We have a fantastic session coming up, looking at video and engagement. So really interesting topic, something I'm looking forward to. Look, I'm not going to waste any more time. Please remember that all sessions though are recorded, because I know now there are a lot of side-by-side sessions. So you don't have to miss out on anything. Wherever you are live, you can always watch the other one at a later date on YouTube. So without further ado, I'm going to get out of the way and hand over the stage. Daniel, over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody, to today's presentation. We're looking at next generation skill development. Just a little introduction. My name is Daniel Nathan. I am head of customer success at Powtoon. Powtoon is a world-leading visual communication platform used mainly, I would say, and strongly by professionals within the learning and development, internal communication, HR, IT compliance industries and verticals. So let's have a look at what it is we're going to be covering today. Here we go. Let's look at the session overview. Essentially, today's workforce is made up by majority of millennials. And 4 years from now, Gen Z will make up about 27% of your workforce. Now, these individuals, these Gen Z individuals, are influential, they're demanding, they're very experience-driven, creative, and more importantly, very short on attention. So we're going to be covering exactly what they expect to see in your learning content. We're also going to be covering how you can turn your learning content into fresh, exciting, and bite-sized video learning experiences that all your employees will enjoy and consume. And of course, we're going to be giving you all a rundown of our video creation platform, as well as video creation best tips and best practices with some fantastic fantastic examples from leading brands. The first example I'm going to show you actually right now. Have a look at this. So this was actually a Powtoon made by Nestle regarding what they feel learning and development is. Let's have a look at another one made by Nestle.
Hey
actually,
everyone,
one of their brands,
lovely
Nespresso.
to see some of you again. And to those who have not met me, hi, I'm Charlie, and I work in the L&D department in the UK and I. Thank you, Rick, for giving me this opportunity to present visual communication platform Powtoon to you. I've been in this role for 6 months, and before this, I had never used a video creator software. So I wanted to show you not only how easy the platform is to use, but the customization which is possible. This is me, and this is my Powtoon character. What's great about Powtoon is the ability to create your own characters to tell your story or deliver your message. Use the preset characters or create your own team. This was the first video I made with Powtoon. You can see I've really captured my features in my character, and Vincenzo's character even has an Nespresso branded shirt.
That was another Powtoon by Nespresso, and I'll show you one more.
Hi there. Let me tell you about Luke's story. This is Luke, a product manager who works hard to give a foolproof product. But his worst fear just happened. A product's feature has an issue. While it is on maintenance, he needs to block users' access to avoid a bad user experience.
Hi, Luke. My name is Diego from the Digital Option Center, and I have a solution for you. For this solution, we're going to use two features, Shoutout and Launcher. Shoutout is a message on a box, in this case, in-app, that can be...
Okay, that was just another example of a Powtoon made by Nestle within their learning and development department. Okay, so let's move on. I want to start now by addressing a big change in learning with a question for you. The question is, has anyone here ever learnt a new skill via YouTube? It could be something as simple as playing the guitar or meditating. I myself have become what I like to think of as a bit of a culinary expert by learning really how to cook from scratch on YouTube. Now, the interesting thing here is things like YouTube and learning content and consuming content on YouTube is how most of your employees under the age of 5 actually consume content. So in their personal lives, millennials and Gen Zers are consuming videos in bite-sized clips on things like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And they do that in their personal lives, and that's what they become used to. But at work, they're still often required to read the same lifeless PowerPoint presentations and static manuals and other text-heavy learning materials. So if you truly want to win the hearts and minds of every employee and your future workforce, then whether young and old, you need to give them more of what they're already used to, and essentially more of what they're already enjoying. And that is video. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, well, we already use video in our learning and development material, Dan. Why are you preaching to the converted? Well, that is great, but it's not just about using video. It's about getting it right. Okay. Now, I'm sure all of you here know that video is essential in the modern workplace. And some of you, as I say, will probably have already been using video content within your learning courses. But as I say, it's not just about creating one video. It's rather how you can incorporate videos across the entire learning experience. And this means driving awareness of things such as training courses, building momentum for those courses, and encouraging employees to start and complete the course. And all of that can be used, or all of that can be achieved using video. But not just any video. You may want to take a webinar, for example, and break it down into different pieces. Because one single entire webinar may not keep all your employees engaged. We're not here necessarily to show you, not only show you how to create videos across your learning experience, we're also going to show you how to do it right, okay? And make sure that your employees not only turn up to your training, but complete the training and essentially consume the content that you're offering. So it's about getting it right, specifically thinking Gen Z. So how can you get it right? Well, yeah, you need to think more Gen Z. And by that, we mean creating learning content that can be consumed at the click of a button, okay? And then incorporating that content across every stage of your learning experience. Let's have a look at some practical tips, okay? And practical examples of how easily you can integrate video into your entire learning experience. Now, what we're going to see here is a diagram from McKinsey & Company, okay, that highlights the 5 key areas of learning and development, okay, from attracting and retaining top talent, motivating and engaging that talent, building an employer brand around that talent, building people capabilities, and then creating a learning-based culture. And let's have a look at these 5 stages of learning and development and understand a little bit more what we mean by that. So let's have a look at attracting and retaining talent. Here, we've got a couple of examples we'll show you shortly of customers who have built videos with Powtoon specifically for attracting talent. If we just go to the first video.
Welcome to the Divs Learning Series on allyship. At Foot Locker Inc., our goal is to weave diversity, inclusion, and belonging into the fabric of our culture. By embracing diverse people, ideas, and perspectives, we will grow our workplace culture to encourage team members to feel uniquely valued and engaged, enabling them to reach and achieve their full potential. An ally is someone who chooses to align with effort to improve the circumstances for individuals from an underrepresented or disadvantaged group. Allies are committed to building an inclusive and equitable society, both inside and outside of work. And they use their privilege and power to support people with marginalized identities. In order to be an ally, you must act, listen, learn, and yield your privilege. Let's learn how.
Being an ally is about action and making a difference in that moment.
The action is arguably the most important attribute.
Intervene if you see someone.
Okay, so that's obviously a well-known brand, Foot Locker. They created a Powtoon to communicate their diversity and inclusion policies. So as a company, particularly known for celebrating youth culture, Foot Locker focuses very heavily on diversity, on inclusion, and on belonging in the workplace and in society in general. So standard training materials, which just look cookie cutter materials, they're the same as everything else, just would not work for the Foot Locker workforce. So Powtoon was a great tool for them. It allowed them to create their D&I videos, as it let them create characters. You saw a lot of branded characters there that allow them to emulate its diverse global workforce and create a deeper sense of belonging for those individual employees. I'm going to show you another example here from Nestle. So, the content in these examples may not mean so much to you, but they're obviously for an internal audience at Nestle, at Foot Locker. And Nestle there have used Powtoon to create a series of welcome videos, onboarding videos for those new employees at Nespresso, one of their brands. And Nespresso has a reputation for world-class service and also for training customer success or customer-facing teams properly, and that's always been a really high priority for learning and development teams at Nestle in general. And before they found Powtoon, they were educating new Nespresso staff via PDF attachments on Workplace and MS Teams and that type of thing. But essentially, their employees lacked time to read these documents, so they created these short branded videos using Powtoon to allow the employees to consume and enjoy that content. So you'll notice watching that there's a lot of branded colors, which are obviously match the digital branded assets known for Nestle. Let's look at the next facet of learning and development from the McKinsey model, and that is motivating and engaging learners. So, of course, motivation is always playing a big part in things like course completion. So it's important to boost engagement and get that promotion of your learning and development content absolutely right. So I'm going to share with you a few tips on making L&D videos that engage and motivate employees to complete the course. Firstly, one of the tips I want to talk to you about is humor. There is a real importance, I think, in using humor within your learning and development content. I've personally seen a huge boost in engagement and learning completion when using humor alone. And it doesn't have to be incredible comedy. It can be something funny, something cheesy jokes, stupid dad jokes, that type of thing. Anything to keep the learners engaged. Also, personalizing your videos is very, very big, especially when you're working with different teams, different cultures, different areas of the global workforce. Always address the viewer's in your video rather than the company. Think addressing the viewers rather than the company. Another great tip is, of course, get people excited to attend your course. On the previous video I showed you there, in Nespresso, we're talking to the new joiners about upcoming modules, upcoming training courses that they've got. So they were setting the scene and getting their employees excited about those upcoming events. It essentially sparks interest and increases attendance to those courses. It's also important to ensure that the content you're creating is available on demand in short bite-sized videos. And the reason for that is on-demand content is hugely important, especially when dealing with a global workforce, because you have people all in every time zone. So, having a webinar at 9 o'clock in the morning in the UK might not work, of course, for a US audience and vice versa. So having content readily accessible inside a learning management system or some sort of internal hosting solution would do really, really good. And of course, lastly, course reviews. Course reviews are extremely important. So once a colleague or an employee has sat through a course, short videos or creating short videos that summarize the main focus point of each course are a great way really to refresh everything that's just been learned. Let's have a look at the next facet of L&D according to the McKinsey model, and that is building an employer brand. So what do we mean by that? Well, building an employer brand plays such a key role in learning and development. When you're creating learning and development programs from scratch, building a brand should be the first thing you do before you put out any detailed training videos. Because throwing out any just random training videos without answering why are we learning this can just essentially make your team, make the viewers feel like they're just being made to consume content without really understanding why. The ultimate goal here is not to get your employees to roll their eyes like, oh, another training video. The importance is to get them to react and engage with the video. So creating a brand around your video is hugely important, but creating an employer brand within L&D doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, but eventually people will appreciate what you've got to offer and will consume that content. So how do you build a brand? Well, start off by creating short videos that show off the training you're offering and introduce employees to new programs or new web pages where they can find more information. Remember, we're talking about building an L&D brand here. For example, you can create a Powtoon video that represents your company by creating characters who are named after your program or a new initiative. By matching the characters' clothing and the background colors to your brand's creative identity, you can subliminally communicate your brand messaging to your employees and build that relationship of trust and credibility with your brand. It's important also to know your audience. I think the content that you create needs to speak to your audience. It's a big part of building an employer brand. And what I mean by that, for example, is if you're maybe creating content for a software developers, right? The detail in that content might need to go into greater detail. You might need to have more technical details. But if, for example, you're creating training content for a sales team, right? Sales teams are pressed with back-to-back calls and meetings, and they have quotas to hit. So they're likely to respond more to a short 5-minute training video with short, sharp details rather than big technical jargon. So it's really important to consider your audience when creating that L&D brand. Let's move on to the next facet of L&D according to the McKinsey model, and that is building people capabilities. Now, we know people capabilities is one of the most important aspects of learning and development. So investing in your employees and their talent should be every organization's bread and butter. Okay. First and foremost, it's about accessibility, especially when it comes to developing people capabilities. The learning content needs to be accessible. Okay. So, for example, Powtoon has lots of built-in features to help you make your videos more accessible. Things like AI-powered text-to-speech, lip sync, and closed caption features can make a real big difference when it comes to making your content accessible. And it's also in terms of accessibility, we mentioned it before, making your videos short in nature and have them available on your LMS, your company intranet, so they can be essentially accessed any part of the globe. As a rule of thumb, we talk about short training videos. You should really ensure that your e-learning courses shouldn't be more than 15 minutes in length, and any one individual video should be no more than 5 minutes in length. You can you of course you may have a requirement to create, oh, we need a 30-minute 4-part training video. You have to think, is this really going to be beneficial? Can we do this in a 5-minute video instead? So if you have any long form videos, try and repurpose them into shorter 5-minute videos. Not everything needs to be lengthy e-learning videos. And lastly, encourage your employees to share and keep knowledge within the company by sharing L&D videos with new team members. It's a great way to help staff retain knowledge and promote collaborative learning as well. Also, retaining knowledge within the company is very important when offboarding and onboarding new employees as well. And also, one of the facets of the L&D model, as shown by McKinsey and Company, is about creating a learning-based culture. So when you've created a culture of learning, it really shows a commitment to your employees, to their development, and to the overall development of the organization. I think creating a learning-based culture is not just about creating videos once in a while. You really want to make sure that the culture that you're building promotes the values of the organization and promotes ongoing continual learning. So when it comes to creating learning-based culture, you really need to get buy-in from the very top. If you can get buy-in from your CEO for creating that learning culture and any other sort of C-level, C-suite executives, it will really help support that learning and development culture inside the organization. The whole job of creating that culture within L&D becomes that much more easier. And in fact, you saw on the Foot Locker video a few moments ago, one of the managing directors, I think from the US, who gave a short speech with their face to camera. That's a very powerful tool to have. As I say, CEOs recording their face on camera, sharing it inside the organization, very quick and very easy to create. But it makes for great learning content. You can film them answering a few questions, give it a quick edit inside Powtoon, and then you can publish it online within minutes. You can also get different members of the corporate office or the C-suite, I said, just talking about learning and what they perhaps love about learning and what maybe they want to see in learning as well. It's not always possible, but there's a few things you can do to promote that culture. Okay, so we've spoken a bit about what L&D means within today's modern society, particularly to millennials and Gen Zers. Let's talk a little bit about Powtoon. You're now aware of why video is so important to building that employee engagement, but I want to show you how Powtoon makes that transition to video so simple. With Powtoon, your L&D managers and instructional designers can very easily create professional-looking videos. But Powtoon, I mentioned at the beginning, isn't just built for L&D. It's also built for any facet, any vertical, any business unit inside the organization. In particular, Powtoon enables employees themselves to create videos. So they don't have to be, as I say, seasoned instructional designers. It's easy enough to use for where anyone can create videos and even create like peer-to-peer learning sessions as well. Employees can create from scratch or use one of our many ready-made templates as well. Also, Powtoon offers a vast collection of different video styles. Stock footage, media, anything so your videos are captured the attention of every single age group, from junior employees to seasoned senior managers. You can create, as I say, videos in many styles, from whiteboard animations to real life or infographic videos, a few of which you've seen examples of throughout this presentation. The next Powtoon empowers you to do is to ensure localization of your content, because localization is the key to scaling video content inside your organization. You can quickly customize video content to different languages. You can translate it inside Powtoon. So where for example, English isn't the native language of some of your viewers, you're able to take an English language video that you've made inside Powtoon and very quickly switch it over to any number of 56 supported languages. And it allows you to do so in a very non-time consuming way. Let's have a look. One of the major differences between Powtoon and other video creation platforms is just how quickly you can scale and repurpose video, how you can very quickly align one template for many different learning programs. For example, you can take a template and customize it very quickly to a different purpose. So it might be an IT compliance issue you might be teaching people about. Then you'll want to take that template. Within a few clicks, you can switch it into an employee onboarding video. So you've really got a whole host of options inside Powtoon. Okay, great. So I want to thank everyone for their time today. What I would do is encourage you all to head over to powtoon.com/enterprise and have a look at our enterprise features, our enterprise products. Feel free to reach out to us if you want to learn more about it and see how you can scale video creation inside your learning and development departments today. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of the events and the rest of the events that you're going to hear for the rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for that session. Really great stuff. I think lots for us to all think about, go and try out. Lots of different things we can approach that with. Again, thank you. Thank you for everyone who's here in the audience as well. And I mean, our next session is at I've lost my schedule. 2:30. So we've got a little bit of a gap, sort of 15 minutes or so, where we are looking at design for learner experiences. So we shall see you again then.